Yo, what up? It's Read Your Mind from UrbanRcLA, and this is another video in the build series of the Axial Yeti Score Trophy Truck Kit. Now, if you haven't watched the previous videos in the series, I went over the boom racing upgrades I'm using, everything that's required for the kit, including tools, receiver, motor, everything. I'm using a Castle Creations SET motor, ESC combo, Spectrum receiver. What else? I've got MaxAmps 6500 milliamp 7.4 volt battery for it. So if you haven't watched all those videos, go ahead back in the playlist and have a look. But otherwise, we're going to continue on where we left off in this episode of UrbanRcLA. Okay, so in the last video, we finished this front clip with the boom racing upgrades. It came out really nice. And then I have the boom racing rear axle. This thing is a beast. I love it. So now we're actually on to the next part, which is page 15. It says open bag B. So I have bag B here. So let's get started. In the instructions it has the A-arms, the C-hubs, and the turnbuckles, all of which I picked up from boom racing. So rather than using the stock parts, I'm going to be using the boom racing upgrades. So let's get those prepped. Ready to go. Put them in my handy dandy Cow RC ProMag pit mat. It's actually a little bit of a tongue twister. ProMag pit mat. Say that 5 times real fast. Look at those. Those are so tight. Those are crazy. So excited about these. What? Oh my gosh, those are dope. Okay, there you go. We've got the 2 front turnbuckles and C-hubs installed. Now we have these awesome A-arms. So I gotta make sure I'm doing this right. Hold on here. I think it goes like this. It's a little different than what's in the picture, so I gotta make sure I'm getting it right. Okay, so we're finishing up with page 15 here using the boom racing upgrades. One thing I noticed is there are these little plastic pieces in here that are spacers, and they're really tight. So I might actually go back in there and sand them down a little bit so that there's just a little bit more freedom in travel. Also, it was really hard to get this C-hub in there, so I actually did sand down those plastic pieces a little bit so that they could fit, because it was a really tight fit. So in the comment section below, leave me a comment to see if I should make this so this a little bit more free-flowing, or if it's going to matter. I think after use it'll actually wear itself in a little bit, but leave your comments in the comment section below. Now that we've got that finished off, we're going to move on to page 16, which is where we start to attach all of this to the chassis. So I'm going to get the chassis and then we're going to get started. Okay, so here's the chassis, really beefy chassis, really like it. There are these long screws that you have to put into this front bumper mount. I think they're a little too long, but that's what it says in the instructions, so I went ahead and did it. And I can actually see in there how the screw is kind of coming through the center, so I almost think that a slightly smaller screw would be better, but I'm following the instructions and we'll see how we go. Now I just got to get this on there and then get these A-arms installed, and we'll be done pretty much with the front clip. Okay, so here we are. We made it through page number 16. I've got my boom racing upgrades with the, what I don't know what these are, sports. It says in here to use 38.5 millimeters. Because the boom racing ones are slightly longer, I went with 35 millimeter. Looks nice and straight to me. I might actually back it off a little bit more because there's just a little bit of a downward angle there. Next up really is the turning system. So I have the boom racing aluminum steering Bellcrank set, and then I have the plastic pieces that I'm going to use to get started on that. So with that being said, let's get to work. Okay, there you have it, the steering Bellcrank assembly from Boom Racing. This thing is nice. That's gonna look super sweet in my chassis against the black. Really excited about moving on to page number 18, where we're gonna assemble the steering arms, I guess is what you call them, and get it installed into the actual chassis. All right, now I'm gonna put together these, you know, I wish they'd actually tell you what they're called, because then I could actually learn something, but I guess these are the steering arms. So I'm gonna go ahead and put those together because that's one of my least favorite things in the world to do. So I'm gonna get that done and we'll be back right in a sec to get the assembly done. All right, so while you were away, I went ahead and I set up these turnbuckles. It says in the instructions it should be 38 millimeters across. I'm doing 40 millimeters just so that when I get it all together, I can do those last couple twists just in there because I hate putting these together. These actually, in terms of turnbuckles, were easier than most kits. There's also a specific way you got to put these little ball joints in there, so pay attention to the instructions on which way those go. So I'm just going to install these real quick. So let's do it. And there you have it, the Boom Racing steering Bellcrank. This thing is sweet looking. Looks like a real mechanical device. Pops nice against the black too. I think it's coming out real nice. Anyways, there you have it. Just yet another video in my build series of the Yeti with the Boom Racing upgrades. Next video we'll be going over what looks like the center diff and shaft, and then getting into the servos and whatnot. So check out the next video for the next part of the series. I appreciate you tuning in to this build series. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you have any comments for me from this video, leave them in the comment section below. As always, if you haven't subscribed, please do. And I will see you in the next video in the Yeti Score Trophy Truck Kit Build series. I'm Read Your Mind, this is UrbanRcLA, and I'm out of here.